50% of the employees of the Governor General's office have experienced workplace humiliation in the last year. Today, I'll tell you why that number should come as no surprise to anybody who's been paying attention.
Just one board I got to appoint, and I chose that the cabinet be 50-50. But I also appoint, as government, as Prime Minister, thousands of positions across the government, and we have made it very, very explicit that gender balance and diversity as well. Not just for its own sake, but because you're getting better decision making, you're getting a governance that reflects the reality of the broad population you're supposed to serve.
Remember when Justin Trudeau said that, when he insisted that by putting unqualified women just sprinkled throughout his government for the sake of meeting some arbitrary gender quota, that it would somehow result in better decision-making and a better workplace environment for everybody involved? Well, it is not exactly working out the way Justin Trudeau promised, especially in the office of the Governor General. Now, before somebody barks at me that our current Governor General, Julie Payette, was an astronaut and is an accomplished woman in her own right, let me stop you right there, because I do not disagree. However, being those things, it doesn't mean she possesses the personality traits and the apolitical attitude required to hold the position of the Queen's representative within our government. The National Post has previously reported that Justin Trudeau became, quote, enamored of the idea of having a female astronaut as the Governor General, as in Justin Trudeau's love of the idea of Julie Payette was the only qualification Payette needed for the job. And Payette might have accidentally admitted that herself at one point, that she had no clue what she would be doing in the CTV interview where she looked back at her first year in the Governor General's office. Here.
We are learning with them how to do this, and at first, because I don't know, then I ask how it works.
I'm sorry, what? She didn't what? The Governor General only learned on the job how important her job was to the good governance of the country? Really? Now, Payette has received criticism about her questionable work ethic, and it sounds like she doesn't appreciate anybody asking questions about it. Here.
Well, they should come and spend a few days with us.
Excellent.
If you would like to.
Sure.
Please come.
Welcome to.
Please.
Okay.
But what is Payette really like to work with? Every year, the federal government surveys the public service to examine the workplace experience of these many, many, many bureaucrats. 180,000 federal workers, that seems like way too many, by the way, are asked their opinions about their job on everything from their salary compensation to workplace harassment. And for the second year in a row, it seems like there's workplace harassment issues happening under our supposedly enlightened Governor General Julie Payette. 22% of employees working at Rideau Hall have experienced harassment in the last year. That's slightly down from the 1/4 of employees who experienced it in 2018, but according to this Maclean's article, it still remains the third highest number of any federal department or agency, and the average percentage of employees who self-identify as experiencing workplace harassment is only 14% across all federal agencies. Staff at Rideau Hall also report an increase in being excluded or ignored, up 40% from 30% in 2018. Staff reporting humiliation is at 50% in 2019, up from 36% in 2018. And interference with work or withholding resources is up to 41% from 27% in 2018. Well, that's not the equitable female-led workplace that Justin Trudeau promised, now is it? However, I don't think it's that far of a stretch to think that this woman who once mocked people for having different opinions on matters of climate science or for believing in God when she doesn't would foster a toxic workplace environment. Remember when Payette said this in an official speech? Here.
Can you believe that still today,
in learned society and in houses of government, unfortunately, we're still debating and still questioning whether humans have a role in the earth warming up, or whether even the earth is warming up, period. That we are still debating and still questioning whether life was a divine intervention or whether it was coming out of a natural process, let alone, oh my goodness, lo and behold, random process.
Now stop for a second and imagine being a global warming skeptic, or worse, a practicing Christian, while working in Julie Payette's office. Would she humiliate you, exclude you, ignore you? Now, according to this National Post article, when staffers tried to blow the whistle on the toxic workplace culture inside Rideau Hall, a quote, witch hunt was conducted to discover who might be speaking to the media about it. And Payette's lackluster performance in the job of Governor General, well, it's spilling over into Canadians' general perceptions and attitudes about the office of Governor General. According to this Angus Reid poll of Canadians' perceptions of Payette's first year's performance, only 1 in 4 people think she's actually doing a good job. The rest of us are either uncertain or completely skeptical that she's a good fit for the role. Payette didn't know what the job entailed. She doesn't seem to be all that good at it. The workplace harassment metrics at Rideau Hall are out of control, something you or I would be fired for. And Canadians don't have any confidence in the job she's doing. I think she's doing more harm to the office of the Governor General than any good that might come of the fact that she's a woman as a Governor General. It's time for Julie Payette to step aside before she Meghan Markles the entire office of the Governor General. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Rebel News, we don't take a penny from the government to keep the lights on and the doors open. That's why we need your help. One of the best ways to help us is to share our stories and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.